Hey, Coach Burt here. I'm in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. Look at those mountains. And there's a store right over there called Altitude. What a great name. What a great name for a store. Because if you're going to do anything big in the world, the whole concept of being a person of interest is you got to have some altitude, right? And the way you get altitude is to get up above the noise and do something nobody else is doing, right? Create something nobody else is creating. Become something nobody else is becoming. To do that, you got to work on you, which is the hard part, which is why so many people won't do it, right? I'm trying to become the #1 activator of prey drive on planet Earth. To do that, I got to spend time studying it. I got to think about it. I got to meditate on it. I got to meet with experts about it, right? Like to become the #1 person in the world is something. It takes years and years, even decades. Decades of a long obedience in the same direction. Desperately working on your knowledge and your skill and your desire and your confidence. And like I drew up a formula on the plane out here. By the way, country music artist Lee Brice was on the plane with me. That's a good dude right there. Good dude. And he's really, really becoming a big star in the world. But you need altitude, man. And I was thinking back when I first developed a little bit of altitude in my 20s when I was a championship basketball coach. I got above the noise. I became the best at that. Then I started all over at 31 years old in a whole new industry where I had no altitude. I had no person of interest score. I had no nothing. I had no loans. I had no lines of credit. I had no money. I didn't have that many contacts. And the way I built some altitude in those days is I created some unique results. First for a bank, 43% increase, made them millions and millions of dollars. And that helped me to get more deals. Then I got the #1 home builder. That got me some altitude. Then, right? Then along the way, there's these stepping points. Like my mentor, Covey, called these, you're not at the summit, you're at rises. And a rise is where you're up a little bit higher. You're up at a little bit of altitude. A little bit more altitude than you were in the past. You can see things you couldn't see before. But you got some more altitude, man. So if you're out there in the world and you're trying to get altitude, you say, well, Coach, how do you do it? The way I'm doing it is partnering with some of the biggest people in the world. I just did an event with Steve Sims. I'm doing events with Brad Lee, Tim Story, Sharon Lecter. I was on the phone with Robert Greene's people this week, who wrote 48 Laws of Power and Mastery, to see if we could bring him in to do something next year. You get altitude by who you hang around. You get altitude by what you do. You don't get altitude hating on other people or spending time talking about people or playing small. You get altitude by getting out in the world. Like I would think, I would tell you that, like my peers would tell you, the person who's been the most on offense during this period has been me. Like all of those dudes are like, man, you're doing it, man. You ain't scared of anything, Coach. You're out there doing it. You're doing events when nobody else will do events. You're traveling all over the world when nobody else will travel. Like you're doing. I'm like, man, I need some altitude. So I'm in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. I'm heading over to Idaho. Yeah, Ashton, Idaho, Rexburg, Idaho, to speak to door-to-door experts. It's going to be great. Then next week, I feel like I'm going to be, Dallas, Texas for 8% Nation. Then Phoenix for Tim Story and Sharon Lecter, Doug Wood, Greg Kimball at the event there at the Moxie in Phoenix, which is going to be an incredible day. If you haven't got your tickets for that. Then I'm going to follow that up, man, with a whole string of events in October. Matt Monero, Judge Graham, Scale with Speed and Vero. I'm heading back to Miami. I'm going to be doing a couples retreat, Living with the Monster, in Seaside, Florida. I'm doing a coaching summit. Coaching summit's coming up in a few weeks. I'm doing a publishing retreat. Man, I ain't stopping. Ain't no stopping this little man, okay? Because I want to do big. This little man wants to do big things in the world. I need some altitude. You need some altitude. You sure as hell ain't going to get any altitude sitting around the house complaining. You're going to get altitude when you get out and people notice what you're doing. You become remarkable. They're like, what's that dude doing, man? He's doing something. He's got to be doing something because he's out there doing it. So this is my encouragement from Jackson Hole, Wyoming. Beautiful place, by the way. First time I've been here. Beautiful. Got a bunch of elk things. Look at all these people just hanging out back there, man. So hope you guys have a great day. Coach Burt, get some altitude.